And we're on. We
Live
are on live today, and our very special guest in the Zest Fest guest is Alfonso Cuadra. And
in the Zest zone.
you're right, you're in the Zest zone now. And I'm so grateful and happy to have you that you've taken time out for your busy schedule to share your knowledge and your experience from your life to our viewers. So it's very special for me to have you here with us today,
Thank you for having me.
because we know that the focus for this series for the whole month of June is powerful self introductions, influencer mindset, and that winning edge. And Alfonso, you've done it so well. Tell us a little bit. I posted a little bit about your introduction. So I'm going to be asking you a couple of questions, but just for the folks to let them know, Alfonso came to Canada as an immigrant. You were a refugee also, weren't you?
Yep.
Single mom.
Yes.
It's unbelievable the courage that people have that come to this country. Because I always think of my mother-in-law. She came over on a boat, 16 years old,
Wow.
mail order bride.
Wow.
And I think of every immigrant that has come. And even, my grandmother lived to be 99. So you could imagine when she was born in 1877, what her life was. And she saw it all the way to the man on the moon and more.
Well, you talked about the winning edge, and absolutely to not to see a different life. Coming from a third world country to Canada, seeing all the opportunity, definitely gives a bit of a winning edge to a lot of immigrants.
Really?
Yeah.
So the person that I'd like to know the difference between the person that you were how many years have you been here now?
Oh boy, 86.
Oh,
I came. I was 9 years old when I came.
okay, great. So you've been here for more than 4 decades.
Yeah.
And the person that you were then has had to transform and dream and become the person you are now. And now you're running multiple companies at the same time. How did you decide on the companies that you have and where you're going with them?
Well, basically, I like to consider myself a leader of leaders. And the only way someone could run multiple different companies, multiple different organizations, is to really foster the leadership within the organization. And so I don't want to bring on employees. I don't want people to come on board that have to check in with me if they're going to if they're going to invest in their company, or they're going to check in every single time they can't make a decision. I need people that can make decisions, and so I empower them. I empower the leaders within our organizations to make decisions on their own and kind of run their own unit. Not only that, I bring in partnerships. I don't have to. The last thing that I want is a bunch of employees, right, that are just there, waiting for 5 o'clock. I want to empower people. I want to create leaders, and I want people to have ownership of whatever it is the job that you're responsible for. So giving people that ownership, empowering them to make decisions, allows me to focus on the business. And that's where a lot of entrepreneurs drop the ball. They're in the business, they're trying to make all the decisions, and they get caught up because they've hired great people, but they haven't given them the authority or the empowerment to make a decision on their own.
And what I'm finding with some of my clients is even if the entrepreneur, the employer thinks they have empowered their staff, the staff doesn't feel empowered. They're terrified of making decisions on their own. They're terrified of making a mistake. How do you handle it when a staffer makes a mistake that costs you money?
Well, at the end of the day, I want to, when someone comes with a mistake, I would like to say it's a learning opportunity, and I want them to come already. I want them to come to the table with the situation, What did you learn from it? How did you rectify the situation? And how are we moving forward? I don't want to. I don't want to come. I don't want someone to come with the situation, because you know what? You haven't solved it. You haven't learned anything from it. And so, how can you be empowered? And so, I don't mind people making mistakes. I don't mind people having learning opportunities, even if it's costing me money, because I know that's an investment into that person, and I know that moving forward, they already figured it out. So that's how I would handle that kind of a situation, right? And I'm not gonna, you know, if someone comes to me, if anybody within our organizations come to me with that in mind, uh, this is the best way to have great leadership within your organization.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I learned that lesson very, very early on. I worked for a wonderful boss, and I said, I have a problem. And he just went, come back to me when you've got some solutions.
Yeah,
It always meant come back. If you walk in, you say, here's the problem. Here's what I think I could solve it with. Because we all have the solutions inside ourselves.
for sure.
And as the boss, that saves you a ton of time. And you'll either say yes or tweak it this way, tweak it that way. And then the more often that happens in your organization, the better they'll get at bringing you the solution.
And you'll be surprised. We think that we can, because we talk about employment retention,
Yeah.
and everybody has this idea that the only way to retain your employees is by money, right? And
Wrong, wrong.
yeah, that's the last thing they want. You can pay them well, and that's great, but people want to feel good about where they work at. Do they have control over their lives? And if you give them control, um, you know, the more control you give them, the better the organization does. The more I've gotten out of my own way, the more I get to do the things that I love to do, like going across North America, speaking to audiences, inspiring people, because that's what I love to do. And if I was caught up in the day to day business stuff, there's no way I would have any possible time to do the things that I love.
Oh, we are so aligned, Alfonso. That's
We're
exactly
kindred souls.
we are. We are.
Yeah.
It's really true. And once people can shift their mindset into that to see and feel like the person that they want to be, because you can't be that empowering, and I sort of struggle with the word of empowering others, but you give them the tools to empower themselves.
Yes.
And once you do that, you will feel differently
Yeah.
about yourself.
Yeah.
It's you feel different now than you did 5 years ago, even.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My phone rings, but when it rings, it's for a reason, right? And I see a lot of entrepreneurs that their phone is ringing, they're stuck to the phone, and you can't be a slave to your business. After all, we started a business to create some sort of freedom for ourselves. And people say, well, I run 11 companies, and my phone can be off for a week if I had to. I mean, I don't need to be attached uh, to this phone, right? I'm not a slave to it, and then I can do the things that I want to do with my life, and then everybody gets what they want.
And that's a perfect segue to lead into one of the places you like spending time and spending your time doing, and that's the Quadra Youth Foundation. What
Yes.
a wonderful gift you are to the community. So tell us about the Quadra Youth Foundation and how can our listeners contribute to it?
Okay. Well, a long time ago, when I was in school, a bit of my background. I did drop out of school when I was 15 years old. I was just frustrated. I felt they never taught anything that I was interested in school. As you know, we have an old broken formula that we still continue to push. Not the fault of the teachers. Teachers are doing the best they can. They just don't have. We are not giving them the tools. And one day I asked one of my teachers. I said, "What's a mortgage?" And my teacher said, "Well, a mortgage is something you get when you're older." And I said, And I started thinking, like, what kind of answer is that? You know, and that really resonated with me, you know, throughout my whole life. And then I started, you know, later on when I started to build these companies and I started to get a lot of recognition, they would ask me, invite me to come into the schools and teach, you know, financial literacy, entrepreneurship skills, sales skills, real estate, personal development, and these kids, they loved it. I remember being in a grade 3 class. A little boy in the back of the room put up his little hand, and he had a question. I said yes, and he said, "What if I forget this?" And so he was very concerned because he liked what he was hearing, but he was concerned that nobody else would be there to follow up to make sure that they really can retain this information. And so a long time ago, I said, how can I, because I'm all about being in a position of service. That's what I do. I mean, I speak all over North America. I want to change lives. And I said, what can I contribute to society? There's already, you know, there's already people that are housing Habitat for Humanity. They've got that covered. People are giving money. People, a lot of people are giving food and clothing to third world countries, and even people that are less fortunate here in Canada. So what can I do? Where's my niche? What can I give? And so I decided that I wanted to give the knowledge, right? Empower these kids and people in general. And so we're going to start very local in Ottawa. We're going to do a workshop, and we are going to give teenagers, mostly teenagers, but we're not going to be very close minded. Like we're not going to close our doors. So, you know, kids that are 12 or 11 or 10. I think 10 is pretty much the youngest we will take. We're going to do it this summer, and we're going to start with one workshop, um, just uh, you know, talking about being an entrepreneur, financial literacy, personal development, real estate. Imagine, Linda, if someone pulled you aside at 14, 15 and gave you a 3-day workshop on financial literacy, where would you be?
Oh, yeah.
And so I think these are important skills, and that's what I want to leave behind. That's going to be part of my legacy. And I think with the youth, we have a really a great opportunity because they're open, they're ready to retain this information, and we've put a couple of youth, so it's through smaller programs, and so we want to start with one, but we want to bring it across North America. So we want to have workshops. You know, this will be summer workshops throughout North America and then Latin America and third world countries. So that's the vision.
That's awesome. And that's exactly what we need. And, you know, those communication skills, that face to face, is what I'm talking about in this whole session. It's how to make that first impression with a powerful self introduction.
Yes.
That they have all that skills and knowledge, but then they must have the personality to be able to stand strong in their power and what
Absolutely.
they have to offer. Oh my God, what a gift.
Yeah, so that's what we're gonna be, you know, putting these teenagers through these programs, you know, public speaking, salesmen. Like, how important is sales in life, right? I mean, if
Everything
someone would have
is
put you aside at 16 and taught you how to execute sales the right way.
yeah.
Yeah.
It started in the lemonade stand. In fact, a friend of mine wrote a book called The Lemonade Stand Millionaire
Mm-hmm.
because she's a big
Exactly.
proponent of teaching kids when they're young about money.
Yes.
And if we have that, imagine what kind of generation we're going to form in the future. You know, people that can pay cash for their houses. We did that when we moved to Ottawa, which is a nice feeling. And paying cash for your car.
Yeah.
It's really nice. It's like, would you like me to certify that check? No, it's okay, Linda. I think if you can pay cash for your car, you
and something simple things like credit, how to use credit,
yes.
right? You know, like kids are, you know, they're going through this educational system that we have today, and they're coming out of it lost, right? Everything they've learned is already they can find on a Google search.
And it's too bad that a lot of the teachers are lost too.
Yeah.
You know, I had teacher friends that worked their whole life and didn't have much to show at the end of their career, which
No,
is
for sure, for sure.
very sad. Well, we're
But they're doing a great service. I mean, they're in on the front lines when it comes to our youth, and all they need is the proper tools,
yeah.
right? All they need is, the um, a lot of the school system today. It's the same school system, same model that we used 100 years ago,
Yeah.
and 100 years ago it was fine. But how? I mean, the world is moving at such a fast pace. We are leaving. We are doing we're not doing our kids. We're not doing right by our kids.
Yeah, we're doing them a disservice.
Yes, yes. So I mean, I know a lot of some parents. They're doing homeschooling, right? And so they just want to be in control of that. So
And it's also then you're missing the component of the social piece of it. So I love that you're doing this with the Quadra Youth Foundation. And if there's anything we can do to support you through Zest Your Life or Zest Your Business, I'd be happy to do that.
yeah,
So
so I will invite people to go to the Facebook group. We have the Quadra Youth Foundation,
great.
and there'll be more information there. People can volunteer. I would love to have, we do need facilitators. We do need people to, carry the torch.
That's fantastic. Well, it's been really great to have you. Thank you so much for taking your precious time to come on board and to share with the community that we have here your skills, your knowledge. And you know what you give us? You all give people hope because that's what we need. If you have no hope, then you feel desperate. But with you and the hope, we can see that we're making a difference in people's lives. We have gifts to offer and the world's waiting for them. So we need to get them out there. Thank you
Well,
so much.
thank you so much for having me. You have a great platform here, and I know a lot of people are going to learn a lot. What did you say? 20 experts in 20 days?
Yes, about that.
I
And
mean, you
and
have
they're all over
you're
the
like, this is like a Zest marathon.
world. Sort of. Sort of it is. It's nice because, and I love the alignment that everybody has, and everybody brings a little different perspective to the same 3 bullet points. And everybody's working really well together. So thank you again.
Thank you for having me. It was my
All righty.
pleasure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.